Good afternoon.
Getting later.
It is getting later.
Welcome to sunny Tasmania, where it is raining.
It's
11 degrees.
It's 11 degrees outside.
Freezing my tits off. I've got 3 layers on. I had a beanie on this morning.
We had 2 degrees.
I've got slippers on my feet.
2 mil
Summer.
of rain. When did you say it was going to be 6?
Tonight.
Tonight, 6 overnight.
I need to go and get some wood because we're going to put the fire on. Well, I am.
Right, in February.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. But there was in
We
Hobart,
had it on in December.
Yeah, we absolutely had the fire. And I haven't built so the fire's in, but the hearth isn't. So, well, what do you call it? Not half, but what's the
thing around it?
Thing at the back, the bit that stops the house from burning down. Well, I haven't done that yet, so...
I want to say lintel, but that's not the right word. Mantle?
Yes, close. Yes, a lintel goes above doors.
Yes, and I'm like, that's not right.
Doors and windows.
Mantelpiece.
Well, yeah, the mantelpiece.
That's usually ours is freestanding.
Again, as is the case
we
since
have
we've started. Yes. So that's why I'll get the very small elephant out of the room. Yes, I pulled the last 2 podcasts. Yes, yesterday was just I put yesterday in the bin because that was only yesterday, wasn't it?
I think so. I don't know. My days blur. So
for the 9 people that watched it, I stand by all my comments, but not in the way they were delivered. So even that, if someone was going to cut that out, they'd just say, I stand by my comments. So you have to go, I don't. So you'd have to
run your sentence together.
Yeah, you'd have to run the
Make
sentence together. So if you're thinking about sound bites, it's like, I don't agree with the way in which I said it, Your Honour. So I feel like that. So like last night. So there was a podcast for. There was 5 and 6, where 5 was just me ranting about the poor for an hour, and pointing at you, and you just going, oh fuck me,
just
dude.
Shut up.
and then afterwards we decided straight away. You decided, I think, that you'd overreacted and you were low blood sugar. But then when I rewatched it, so I rewatched it yesterday, and the first half of it was fine. I'm not going to edit it. The whole point of these is they're not edited. The first half of it was fine, but then the last half of it, you can just see I'm ranting. Like I'm absolutely ranting. I've got nothing on my stomach.
La la la. Blah blah. Yeah.
And
Let me tell you another thing.
Let me tell you another thing about these, because we went through. Yeah, it was a little bit. I won't say it was getting to the point of being. It certainly wasn't that you weren't able to...
It was too specific.
It was too specific. I don't think you're able to identify... But if anyone who was mentioned in a roundabout way watched it, they'd know exactly that we were talking about them. And I won't go so far as to say it was defamatory, but it was...
So that's not why we're here.
Unnecessary. Little negative, bit dark. And I'm going on about, these men these days that can't, if you can't fuck, fight and tie knots, put a dress on, and you'll go, oh, I take offence at that. Anyway, it was just a point. My bad. As I said last night, and what I was going to say before, because again, I need to practice finishing my points and not continually rubbing my face and self-soothing as I do this, which...
I don't mind ASMR.
Only when that chick from Texas with the massive tits does it. Not that I'm a tit guy, but anyway.
It's weird.
The point I was going to make, which I started to make beforehand, was I felt like last night I was thinking like that scene in A Fish Called Wanda where Kevin Kline's holding John Cleese upside down out a window, and it starts with...
I'm terrible at remembering shit.
So it starts with the camera upside down to view him, and then it pops up, and then you realise, oh shit, he's upside down. And it pulls back, and you see him hang out the window, and him being the barrister going, I... completely retract all of my comments. Right. I unreservedly apologise for any hurt or harm that I may have caused you or your family. I utterly repudiate my views. I was incorrect. I spoke out of turn. He's like, anything else, Archie? Just
please
before
don't kill me.
So I felt like that. I thought that's how I started. So yes, this podcast is definitely the do-over. So. I said, it wasn't particularly bad, but it's just like, who cares? And is that a hill I really need to fight and die on this week?
No, you had to be in your bonnet about something.
Yeah, well said. Again, the danger is we're not allowed to do this unless we've actually eaten. Even if I've eaten, I need to have eaten at least 300 or 400 calories before doing this, and had a coffee and be awake.
Because we are on a health kick at the moment. And that is also
I'd already said
one
that.
of the interesting things at the moment.
I wanted to call this, Doc Day Drinking, because because it's
usually
it's
we
bad,
are day drinking.
Usually
but at the
we are
moment
day
we're
drinking,
not.
and it's it's pretty funny. It's literally starting this on the fortnight because I haven't had a drink in a fortnight. But that's what I was also going to say is like I thought the whole idea of that my rants would come when I was 9 wines in. It's just,
Apparently not. Cold stone.
Let me tell you another thing about dull bludgers. But yes, it wasn't it wasn't that bad. But it was just in the way I delivered it, and the way it was a bit too much. It was like talking a bit specifically about one of our tenants, not identifying them in any way, yes. but sort of going, why does this guy have no money? And here's. Oh look, I know, and you saying, well, how much does he make? We don't know. It's like, oh, I do know, and then going through it, and it's like, yeah, that's not appropriate.
No.
So yes.
But I genuinely don't understand why people don't have money when they have a full-time job.
And that's the point. And I think yes, and I agree, and that's a perfectly reasonable comment.
And I'd be interested to know,
chat with some people and do it. Like I think really when I'm not being so fucking horrible about it, because I just thought, God, I'm an asshole. It's like, but it's nothing I haven't said to people before to their faces though. But it's just realistically, it's you get behind. Like sometimes you get behind, and then you get depressed about being behind, and that makes you get more behind, and then it just spirals and spirals and spirals, and at some point you need to hit, in my view, expressed so delicately and with compassion was, fucking get on with it or kill yourself. It wasn't quite that bad, but I was heading that way, and it's like, that's not not a case of being a pro. It's not necessary. But yeah, and I think that's how it does happen, and it gets to the point that and that's really hard, and we've all been there.
I get that it's hard. I've done it. I haven't done it the same way that other people have done it. I am fortunate enough to not have mental illness. But
And that's the one thing which I did at least say is that if you're profoundly mentally ill, well, I mean that's a wrap. Like that's worse than.
But that's where.
That's worse than having no arms, no legs, and
should step in. That's why you should have a safety net, and the government should provide you with certain things, and that's what that's meant to be. But
and again, I mentioned this again too, but then I mentioned this, and so I acknowledge, like I said that here's the great big circle of somebody's life, and here's the tiny little bit you know about, and that's why you shouldn't really comment on it. I don't think it's why you shouldn't really comment on it. Maybe you shouldn't be so brutal about it. So, but
sometimes people need a kick up the arse.
Yeah, and they're certainly not getting it at the moment. And I'm not necessarily the one to be the arbiter of all those things. Deliver it, but I did in that case to that person. But I was still reasonably trying to explain, like, well, what are your options then? Are you going to get on with it, or are you going to continue to wallow in it? Because I know what happened. I know where this
goes. Yeah,
this
why don't you change your course?
Yeah, if you're going to head that way, that's got a beginning, a middle, and a definite end. And
you do have some self-determination in this life.
What other choice things I was sort of saying? Does this make it as bad where I have to pull this one? Anyway. No. But I was just sort of saying, like, if you've got less, like in the Kenya thing, it's like, if you've got less money, man, I don't give a fuck what you think. And it's like, that might be true, but, it's not quite that cut and dried. So anyway,
but that's the point. A lot of people think that it's black and white these days. And there's no black and white.
And it's very grey. But even I thought, well, that's probably a bit too grey.
And yes, we all have different opinions about different things on different days, and they can change and blah, 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 blah.
And I'm sure it'll happen again, but I just thought if I was going to have an obnoxious rant about something, I'd prefer it to have a little bit more substance.
Cool. All right.
So yes, anyway, so I don't know. So 5 and 6 may be lost to the depths.
They live in the abyss forever.
The
archives.
It might come back. I don't know.
I haven't read the news today. What's of interest?
Not much. Not much in Tasmanian news, fortunately. I don't think it has, apart from a slight update on Dr. Fish.
No, thank you.
I don't think...
a 2-foot baby has been born in Brisbane, Brazil.
A 2-foot baby? What, baby elephant?
I thought they meant as in 2 feet, but no, they mean 2 feet. We may see more giant babies in the future. Fuck me dead. How big's 2 feet?
60 centimetres.
Out of a woman's vagina. That would have hurt. Or maybe she had a C-section.
regardless, it would have...
That's a large baby.
Oh, I forgot to put caffeine on.
Oh, dear.
Sorry, my bad. I thought I did that.
I saw yesterday as well, there's a couple of people I follow on YouTube. More and more child-free women are getting the shits and ranting about the shit that they have to cop.
There was a bit of ranting about that yesterday too.
Yeah. People just assume... Because that's calmed down for me. I haven't had that in a little bit.
From people?
Yeah, I used to get that a bit.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's still time.
Not anymore, there ain't.
Go fuck yourself. So, some of us don't want children. We're quite happy with that. Yeah. I'm an aunt. I get them fill them full of sugar and send them back.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing that I was always, as I've often said to you, is that you're quite peculiar from the point of view that other women that I've known that weren't interested in children were just not interested in children. Full stop. Like, get that little motherfucker away from me. Like, yeah. Well, you're fine with kids.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, kids like me. I don't know why.
It's like curiosity killing a cat.
Probably.
You know,
they sense it.
But that's that's the same with me. Like the only kids that I really don't like. I don't like babies in arms. I don't like
blobs.
I don't like. Yeah, I don't like blob. Yeah. If it looks like an alien, don't bring it near me.
Yeah.
Toddlers. Yeah, I don't see the point of them. The terrible twos, you can keep all that shit.
That goes for a while now, apparently, so I'm told.
So not interested in that.
Not just twos.
And I don't like them. So basically my thing has always been that if I can reason with it, then that's fine. Like, because at least then you can say, no, you can't do that. Don't throw a tantrum. Behave yourself, you know, and at least be able to, you know, not like when it's screaming, it's like, what do you want?
Yes,
like, I don't know.
Tell me.
There is insufficient data.
Yeah.
So I, but young children, like, you know, like,
quite funny. Some of them.
They're fine.
Well
I
behaved.
couldn't care less once they're, you know.
Don't get me started on kids that aren't well behaved and the parents doing absolutely fuck all.
Yeah, but that's another social thing that's going on at the moment. Yeah. You know, kids were always shitheads.
And bringing them to things where I don't think they will.
And it's where it's not appropriate. No, like I mean, and the amount of times, to mention the B word, like the amount of times in the bar, like people, which we haven't had for a while, we had to begin with.
Yeah.
People trying to bring their kids to the bar and like saying, no, look, it's not for kids, and it's like, why not? And it's like,
it's a bar.
It's a bar, Mother of the Year.
Yeah.
No, you can't bring your
nighttime,
baby in a
arms,
stroller into essentially a nightclub.
Yeah, it's weird.
At 10 o'clock at night.
No, thank you. Yeah,
like,
go home.
It's like,
why are you here?
I want to open up a scroll and read from... These are the following reasons why you shouldn't be doing this. Starting with, before we even get anywhere near the bar, why is it not in bed?
Yeah.
It should have been in bed 4 hours ago.
Are you having trouble with it sleeping? That might be why.
It's like the difference of people saying, I have to drive my kid around in a car. It's like,
I had that.
My kids only deal with, my kids can only sleep in an 80s bar, so I've got to,
My parents used to drive me around. Put me to sleep, so I'm told.
So
that's when I also ate the whole cigarette ashtray full of cigarettes.
When you were that young?
Because remember when you used to have ashtrays in the cars and my parents were both smokers?
Oh, you were in the back just eating them.
I was in the back just eating them and I got really, really sick, obviously. Yeah. It's probably why I'm not a smoker. Because I don't like, revolting. So yeah, that was good times. In the back of a Corolla.
Yeah. So anyway, but kids, young adults and things, I don't mind, and they're fine, and as long as they're relatively well behaved.
Depends on the child. Same as everything. Depends on the child. Depends on the adult.
Yeah. But,
so anywho.
Well, that was the one I was telling you about the other night. Like that was just like for a moment I was left there speechless, going, "Do I fucking call someone?" Like so I had
to help the child.
Yeah. Like it's like is there can I ring?
Who do I ring?
0003 for a doc's help. Like going, all of this you need to have a look at, which was. So that was last weekend.
Late.
At the bar late, like 11 o'clock, and it was just one of those nights.
On the street, on the footpath.
Where there was nothing good coming in, and so I went, and we were short-staffed, so I was there doing the filtering, doing the doorman job, which is a whole argument in itself. Why does a tiny little theme bar need a fucking glassy doorman? It doesn't quite need a bouncer, but we've employed them before. as you know. But so anyway, so to rehash the discussion we've already had beforehand, but for the benefit for the amusement and edification of those watching, 2 women pushing one of those Baby Bjorn double wide,
not long,
strollers. I couldn't see how many. I couldn't see if there was 2 kids in it or 1 kid in it, but there was definitely at least a small human in there. And the reason why I couldn't look is like the one actually pushing it seemed relatively compos mentis, apart from all the reasons of like
why are you here at this time? Yeah.
And the other one, both females, and she was just off her chops on meth. Like had pick marks on her arms were ripped to pieces, and just straight away going, what was she complaining about? Oh, not being able to get an Uber or a taxi. We can't get an Uber or a taxi. And what's it like? So it just came on 11 straight away, like I'd already been talking to her for 10 minutes. So she's talking, and then just started, and I'm just standing there just going, fuck me, Dad.
Just keep walking.
Like these, and this is how the cycle continues.
Yeah.
And just thinking, and I went, I've got because that's the problem. It's, you walk a really fine line between, if you engage with them, that's going to be a problem. If you don't engage with them, that's also a problem. It's like, no, you want to fucking talk to me, So I was sort of in the middle, I go, yeah. And then I just said, because she was talking about a taxi. No taxi will fucking take us, and they're all a bunch of that. And I'm just going, because I was thinking in my head, where do you want to go? Like, it's like, need to go to Ravenswood, Rochelle, all these places, Mayfield. At 11 o'clock at night with...
No one's taking you.
And that being said, also the cab will
Does it fit?
Well, that's the other issue. Like, how's it going to work?
How did you get here?
And that's why you don't go out at 11 o'clock with a kid. I get...
Where have you been?
Shit happens. Anyway... It went right to the end, and it was just like, why don't you try an Uber? Like, you can do it. I have that on my phone.
And she yelled at you for suggesting something.
And then they just, all of a sudden, basically turned the taxi. No, turned the stroller and just pushed it straight out into the road. So that's on... Oncoming
York Street traffic.
Yes, York Street traffic coming down. And that's where they do their stupid blocky route.
So you've got to be careful sometimes.
So you've got to be careful because things can come through, and they just push out, and I'm just going.
Not at the foot.
No, like right in front of the bar, like just out, and off they went, like between 2 cars, like the kids out first, between 2 cars, out they go.
That always makes me laugh. Is strollers and
the
stuff.
design.
Yeah. They're in front, so you push them into harm's way. Which is why I can understand why people have them attached to them.
Still out front though, but yes, I get it.
It's not.
If you protect yourself,
a metre in front of you.
If you instinctively protect yourself, you're going to protect the child as well. Yeah. But and then they just pushed that, and nothing was really coming. But and then afterwards, I just went, where are they going with these kids? Because I just sort of thought, do I call someone mainly because they're not going to get a cab, they're not going to get an Uber. Like you're going to have to push that
wherever you're going.
We're up Shit Creek, wherever at the end of Shit Creek where you live. That's where you're going to be pushing that thing. And
but no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't get involved.
Absolutely. And it's just like,
it's absolutely necessary.
That's you look at the kids and you just go, well, shit, mate, that's your rap. I hope you go to
school and get educated.
I hope you've got a good brain, and I hope things work out for you. But good luck, buddy. Like, because it's not like there's what can you do? What can you do with that? But that's one of the few times I've literally been left there standing, just going, who do I call?
Random segue, or almost. So again, my chat with Legs the other day, she was saying that one of her kids, who's in...
Just not need too much information.
No. They do some kind of uniform testing. I don't know if it's NAPLAN or whatever the fuck it is now. But it's the older one, so year 9, I think. Year 9. Year 3 reading level. All of them.
Including her kids? That might be a bit... Again, trying to do the... be too specific in what we're discussing.
Right, yeah. But,
Oh, was that one of the ones that I was teaching science to that time? And, like doing...
And he's obviously not, but the average or mean...
he's a bit... Because I say, no.
They're fine.
Right, okay, good. So that's what I was going... Oh, for God's sake, don't
she's got a brain in her head, so he's
I was just going to say, don't, for God's sake, don't. The following people we know have children with a reading age of 9 when they're all in their 20s.
No, it's the test that they do for all of them. And the year came back at a year 9s, I think, pretty sure it's year 9s, came back as a year 3 reading level. And I went, What? How is that possible?
Reading, I'm far from expert when it comes to epistemology of young children, but
my response was, we're all fucked.
you need to. They need to read. They need to be read to. They need to then read themselves. They need to find it
Out
interesting.
loud.
And there's always a spectrum, and there's some that are a spectrum of bell curve where okay, little Timmy, he needs help. But generally, the bulk in the middle, if they've been read to and they read and all those sorts of things, then they're gonna be fine, and they're gonna pick it up, and they're gonna be able to do it. But I remember, again, with my ridiculous eidetic memory for 1984, I can literally remember 1984, and I can remember, actually this was 85 when I was in year 4. I remember constantly being told to shut up in class because you all went around the room reading. So all
I remember that. Yes.
And
you did that through to high school.
yeah, and you'd go
Reading
around the world
Shakespeare
reading,
out loud.
and there's just these kids, and he's going sounded, like the teacher's going sounded out, and I'm just going,
so frustrating.
and I'm just going,
I know the
together.
word,
The word is together.
Yeah.
To get her, and it's just like one more word out of you, Goldsmith, and you're out.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And so I don't know whether we've talked about this before or not, but again, another part of that was this something called self-directed learning, where they
we haven't talked about that on here, but you've mentioned it.
where I'm like, there's a curriculum, right? And no, apparently what do we want to learn today?
I can imagine that from time to time being reasonable.
You can have an hour in the afternoon where it's self-directed learning. Sure, pick a subject.
And maybe that's what it is.
But,
like, I don't know. I would have to have a look at it because again, that's third-hand conversation.
Yeah, true.
I'm not turning this.
You're being good, aren't you?
I'm being very good. I'm not turning into this podcast into it. All right, I'm going to employ a producer to constantly fact check me and say, okay, 9 seconds ago you said something that was only half true. Quick, ring Snopes.
Anyway, but it's interesting because again, I have nothing
comes down, but it also comes down to the
with
teacher.
Schooling and education. I should ask one of my friends. She's a teacher.
There's definitely different qualities
Primary
of
school?
teacher, and there's definitely teachers who screw around and don't do what they're supposed to do. That happened in the 80s, it happened in the 90s. I remember all of that. Is it worse now? Is it better now? I don't know. Just like, are the kids any dumber or smart? I doubt it. I'd say they're all the same, but I'd say there's more. You know what? I wouldn't say there's more social problems. I'd say there's different social problems. Because for all of not to put too fine a point on it, but fucking was the case in the 80s. Like now, there's probably far less kiddie fiddling going on, but back in the 80s, it was just like, walk it off, you'll be fine. Like it was.
It was physical bullying among other things, whereas now it's more mental bullying because they're all on.
I think there was plenty of both. Again, get you women up in the back corner, That's the thing. Boys will knock a teeth out. Women will kill you. Like
Women are mean.
They will pick away at your soul. There's
I
been
did
so
some
much
terrible
There's
things.
been so much. Yes, would you like to look at the camera and apologise to anybody? But yeah, there's been so much stand up and stuff of men will
I wasn't as
hurt
bad
you,
as
but
it
women
went.
will kill you.
Well, I have done a few terrible things. I wasn't a mean girl.
You got the brains for it though. That's the problem.
The things I did would fucking cut you to the core.
Yeah.
But I won't tell you the worst thing I ever did, among other things. But
we can save that for another time, children.
yeah, let's not. What was I going to say? No, I can't remember. It's gone.
But yes, I'm going to try and be less specific on this though.
Yeah. No, there's just kids are mean.
Yeah.
Mean girls.
Yeah. But it's a well-known phenomenon. And that's been around since day dot.
Kids are brutal. Full stop.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, there's a reason they heal so easily, both physically and mentally, because they
have to.
Yeah, it's a part of the process of growing up, and it's brutal.
I shouldn't read. This is why I don't read the news.
Well, nothing's really. I don't think. As I said, apart from old fish guts, I don't think there's been any real updates this week in local news. I just read some other just a garden variety axe murder or attempted axe murder.
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. It's like, oh yeah. And I want to pick on, go. I know I often take an axe with me to have an argument with you, but then I sort of think about that. I'm joking.
Yeah, so do you?
Yeah. We do have a selection of axes,
Yes,
but yes,
different.
let me pop the axe.
A purpose?
Darling, we need a chat. Let me just pop the hatchet there while we begin our discussion. But no, I was sort of thinking, oh God, Tasmania, they all do that. And then I was just thinking, no, in Sydney we use block
Remember?
splitters.
I was going to say, yeah, you read about the fucking...
I saw the
nutbag.
video.
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
that
wanna
was
see that.
in a 7-Eleven and some crazy trans in inverted commas, but just some guy in
Mental
drag,
case.
complete mentally out of their thing, and just
That was the Newtown one, wasn't it?
yeah, which was
It's
the one up
demolished now. It's no longer there.
because of that, or
I'm not sure.
wouldn't
Maybe
have helped.
I was going to say maybe partly.
Yeah. That was the one right
petrol
up
station
in the corner,
Yeah.
across from the other hotel where they beat the
No,
brakes off.
further down.
Oh, okay, was it? Oh, because
It was on Enmore Road. The other one's on King Street.
that was years ago, though, wasn't it? Like,
a few years. Again, we've lost 2 years in the meantime, so we keep forgetting that it's been a jump.
And what that was a bunch of blokes.
When they put the block outlaws on, everyone started coming down to King
Right.
Street, and some fuckwit decided they didn't like a gay guy.
Yeah, and beat the brakes
shit
off
out
some
him.
fucking gay guy.
Some poor guy. Because you're not welcome in our pub.
But that's where I'd come from.
You're in
Out
Newtown.
of Cinderbrook, it's like you're in. Basically, everyone here's as gay as a bag of butterflies, mate. And
who gives a shit? And surely I'm not the first gay person you've ever come in contact with in
yeah,
Newtown.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like
There's every kind of person here, including you dickhead. Anyway, but yeah, that was further
But I remember
down.
they dogpiled on the pub for it too. So like at some point, so it must have had some. Who knows?
Don't know.
But
yeah, there was an incident, and then there was that block splitter one where a crazy person literally just came in and smacked two
people
trying to pay for their petrol in the head.
But it was interesting watching the video where you can see them trying to ignore it and all the rest
God,
of it.
don't
And
ignore
it's like,
it.
it's like control the
Don't
weapon.
turn your
I just
back
look
to
at it,
them.
control the weapon,
Yeah.
like at all, like get close, grab hold of it,
Yeah.
don't let go of it because that'll kill you. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't because that guy, like literally, bonk.
It killed one, didn't it?
No.
Oh, God, you'd be permanently.
Again,
damaged.
I'm talking out of my arse. I don't have the facts in front of me, but I believe that they both survived. There was a man and a woman, and the man was, like
severely injured.
Like axe wound to the head.
Jesus, look, he survived.
And I do believe that they sort of got put in a rubber room. They didn't, so.
Well, normal people don't do that.
No, not without severe and ongoing provocation. Particularly in a war setting, not sort of, on Enmore Road.
Today is going to be a non-block splitter axe day.
Yes, because at
Today's
some
gonna be
point
good,
I have
even
to
though
go
it's a
into
bit
the bar,
miserable.
so I'd prefer not to be axe split.
Right. Festivale's on still, so
Yes, Festivale is a, what would you call it?
an event
An event in town,
in a park.
where people just get munted on wine. So it's a festival. That's
Not just
right.
wine. All sorts of things. Remember?
No.
Cider, beer,
Yeah,
wine.
most of it undrinkable.
Live music. Food, but yeah.
So, remembering again the parochialism of Tasmania, that Hobart had a thing called the Taste of Tasmania back in the day, which was the same
They've still
sort of
got
thing.
something called that.
And then Launceston had to have something which they call
We're going to
Festivale.
Hobart next week.
We are to the boat show.
Wooden boat show. We're on a boat.
So,
But yeah, Festivale's on, so it might not be.
So that soaks up everybody. More people are in town. Well, that's why last night was reasonably busy, but.
It's going to be interesting weather though, because it's outdoors and raining. So
Well, it's Festivale's like Agfest. That it
your
brings
boots on.
the rain gods every time. So you expect that.
yeah, put your hat on, you'll be fine. I don't know who's playing tonight. Last night was Living End and Super Jesus.
That's what said it.
So
hey, it's the 90s.
yeah, reliving heydays. But that's their market, I think, over 30s.
But you just got to be careful. You just see these people wandering around, still clutching their plastic cup that they had from Festivale, and just being, which is it's fine, but you're dealing with people that are absolutely legless. And as I said, that woman that came into the bar last night that was absolutely not served, where she couldn't function. Like she wandered in. Because again, short staff didn't have anyone on the door, so she wandered in. She came to the bar, and you could see her and just going, looking at her, just going, "Oh
We
no!"
can't serve you.
But then she came up, and I said, and Joe said, "So what can I get you?" And then looked at her and went, "A glass of water." And she's like,
yeah, just trying to keep it together.
No words.
Oh,
and then she's
Jesus.
trying to get her wallet out, and it's just like,
That
no. How about you have a glass of water? And then I was worried about, she's going to fall off the chair and crack her head,
That's
and then
why
it's
you
going to
helped
be
her
a problem. And I sat with her. I
leave.
went and sat with her. I made her drink a glass of water, and it's just like, can I get you a cab? Come on, you've got to go home. What's your name? You
But
know,
I
and
do-
it's like,
so
come
it's-
on.
It's difficult in a small bar for RSA when people are buying other people drinks. I can't imagine
You've just
what
got to
it's
keep
like.
on top of it. Well, you can't.
In
a-
Festivali.
No, well,
Thousands of people. You don't know what's going on.
no.
That's what the security guards are there too, to watch the crowd and go, they're falling down, like they're not sitting upright or whatever. They've had too much to drink. They need to go.
But I wonder, do they kick people? I'm sure they kick people out for being belligerent, but do they kick
probably
people
not.
out for just being,
Drunk, intoxicated.
completely and utterly hammered? But yeah, she was a
Beyond.
she was gonna crack her head, and it's
And
like,
on her own?
yeah,
Oh God, even worse. What are you doing?
well dressed, 60 in the shade, so but just had one too many glasses of claret.
Yes.
But yeah, it is difficult, and what you're saying about bars and things, it's just, not talking out of school here. It depends on the bar, and some bars just if you can
We're mindful of that. Others aren't.
We're very mindful of it. Law aside, just because it's a small area, like it's not,
Yeah.
and the
I don't want
litigious
anyone to hurt anyone or
litigious
hurt
nature of
themselves.
everybody that I slip over because I'm legless and it's your fault, and it's like, and it's not that bad,
Yeah.
but you don't even want to have the conversation. You don't even want to have the thought that, oh God,
Paperwork. I fucking hate paperwork.
yeah, and and again, is this very crass of me? Now, I'm not the licensee, so I can maintain this view, but it's just like, it's not the person falling over and cracking their head that's bothering me. It's no win, no fee lawyers. It's like, make everyone have to pay for law, and that'll weed out the frivolous lawsuits. But still, something like that. It's just like where it comes in. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you don't serve them, you help them out. Like, you've done everything you
We've
can.
done that
That's
before.
fine. But you do see some other places, and you go, especially like when I go to some other bars that shall remain nameless, or large pubs that are known to constantly have problems, yet still, I don't know how haven't been. I'm sure they have been censured. They've certainly been fined, but how they haven't. Because like if like a tenth of that happened in our bar, it'd be like, yep, take the license. I agree.
Yeah, we're done.
Shit, sorry.
Yeah.
But they'll just keep serving them and serving them and serving them and serving them and serving them. And when it gets to the point, if they step out of line, there's so many security guards there. If they step out of line, they're going to get stomped on instantly. That's fine. But it's just like, but you're just looking at people that can barely function. But that being said, in that kind of place, half of them come in and they're barely functioning, and none of them had a drink. And the really worrying ones are the ones that can barely function and they haven't had a drink, they haven't had a bill. It's just like,
That's them.
and it's just like, jeez.
Yeah.
Again, I'm hoping I'm sure it's no different. I'm sure it's no
mostly
different. I'm sure I'm
better
just
than
getting
that.
old. I'm just getting old and just going, oh,
Anyhow.
wow. But no, we definitely have. That's why we've often thought about it. It's just like, it'd get us in the paper, which is about as exclusive as getting in the white pages. But
Here, yes.
yeah,
Members only.
under 30s.
Yeah, no, 30 plus.
30 plus. Like,
But even still, you can't pick it.
and you get, but that's the thing where you just go, well, I'm willing to. I'm sorry,
There's a few good young'uns,
and it's always the ones that look like hell
and it's
that are perfect.
The most problems I've ever had are the fucking middle class, dressed fine, think that they can
Entitled
tell me
shitheads.
what to do and just look at me and say no. And I'm like, move your ass.
Yeah.
You're done. You're not having any more drink. Go home.
That's where we aren't great at being in the hospitality industry, because we are two of the least hospitable humans.
I'm hospitable till
in
you're
Christendom.
rude or a prick.
I'm not even that hospitable.
Well, yeah.
I don't like. But that's the whole idea. I'm not meant to work in there.
No.
And it's just
So I said,
filling
maybe
in
I
and
should go in
going
tonight.
No,
Scare the shit out of everyone.
please no.
Again, for some reason.
But I'll go in there. I'll go in there late tonight,
I don't
and I'll
have
go
a
and do the
penis.
door.
It doesn't help me in certain situations, but in other ones, they seem to not be able to
It's
understand.
the one time you're going to write a check and someone's going to cash it for you, and it's going to be a life-changing experience. And I'm
no,
trying.
I know
and I'm
my
doing.
limits.
Yeah, I know, but right, yeah.
I'm calling the cops. You've got 30 seconds.
Yeah, but no, it's been
They're
fine.
usually
It's
pretty-
been
that's-
fine.
that's
It's
not-
been fine.
yeah.
It's been fine lately. It's just not. It just needs to. And again, I don't mind saying this quasi in public, but it just needs to. Like, it's run its course, and we're not really interested in it anymore, and not that we're really all that interested in to begin with. Because again, the whole idea, for the benefit of those watching, the whole idea of opening the bar
Project.
was a bit of a project during COVID, potentially. Like, yeah, I absolutely had it was approved before COVID. I always had the thing of, I wouldn't mind setting up a little dive bar for fun, but it was so rapidly. I thought it'd be something that'd be a few-year project, just do the paperwork. Sure as shit would be in Sydney, certainly traditionally.
Depends on the time.
Depends on the time. And then as soon as it hit COVID, it was just like, welcome, do whatever you like. Rubber stamp. And I was like, oh God, guess we're doing this now. And then we did do it, and it was a good distraction during COVID, because we were doing that literally during
We opened
April, May, June 2020.
No, we weren't. We opened in August 2020.
Yes, we were building it, fitting it out,
yes.
doing it like as a project.
Right.
Yes. How dare you?
How dare you?
Men are talking.
Fuck off.
So it was a good distraction from that point of view. But yes,
The world has gone back to some kind of normality,
and we are going back to travelling, and we should as well. But it's always the case of I don't want to put people out of work just because I'm bored with my big boys toy, and
We're not.
so we will continue to do it for a while.
Too many projects.
But that was the other thing. We have looked at getting it valued and selling it, and the valuations have come back have just been laughable. And it's
They don't value things here. It's weird.
no,
And that's why they wonder when people come in and buy stuff and they go, yeah, that's good
So
value,
one of the
I'll buy it
so one of the
from
value.
other places.
So again,
No, let's not go into that.
let's not go into
No, thank you.
Well, let me express it in a different way without saying it. Let's just say that the value for the business, including the premises, let's see, what's he going to say? Was not much more than its yearly turnover,
Yeah, which is weird.
which doesn't.
You're not just buying it for a year.
Yeah, and it included real property, like it included the premises,
Yeah.
So it's just like
Yeah, they don't.
no.
It's weird.
No. So anyway, there's an exercise in how we should express things. Not in, well, I got this much from this person and fuck them, and it's just like dance around it a little bit, leave some mystery in the relationship. So yes, that's what I'm thinking of doing. So
Alright.
there we go. So that's our chat. So
Rainy day chat. Said it's still raining.
yes.
I need
So
to go and do something.
you need to go and do something. I'm going to go and do something. I'm not going to continue ranting now for another 10 minutes until you put your hands in your heads and just going, you're being crass, just fuck off. And so hopefully the redo podcast. Can I have a redo? Time out and redo. But so yes, so things have been fairly uneventful. I've had something to eat and I've had a cup of tea, and I don't feel the need to complain bitterly about all the voices in my head
Great.
going, you're being persecuted and they're all out to get
God,
you.
Yeah. Shut up.
Pretty much. So,
Alright.
so anyway, on that note,
I have to do my steps.
you go and do your steps. The whoop strap was upset at me for not sleeping enough, but it's going to have to get used to that on Friday and Saturday nights if I go into this silly bar. Should have a full complement of staff back next week, so we can leave them to their own devices. Won't require us visiting.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon. Goodbye, my children. Beware of wolves.
I was waiting for it.